The Zenon fight seems to be over. There's a couple of things that I'm actually kind of confused about with Tabata, not in a negative way, but more of like his line of reasoning. So we know that he said that he can't beat Zenon with star magic alone. Very understandable. Obviously, like he's shooting laser beams and have some cool shields. His conjunction is definitely his best spell out of his star magic. Being able just to freely teleport between set points is really good. But we do see a part in this chapter where he uses this whip, and I don't really get the point of the whip. I feel like the point of the whip was literally just to show us another scene where that it indicates that he's not capable of doing it with star magic, because he uses this whip and it goes right through Zenon. And when I first saw it, I was like, okay, well, he didn't cut the heart. But then when you see the panel of like the damage regenerating, you see the heart in the spot. So I guess I guess he's not arcane with star magic. I thought that was very strange. Like, that to me was the weirdest part probably of the chapter, because I figured star magic would be arcane. Like sun and moon magic, they were already talking about like the uniqueness of it. Obviously, like their bloodlines and their family keeping specifically unique and weird magics within the family. And star, sun, and moon magic, I would have all guessed to be arcane. I guess we don't really know. Maybe it's just not strong enough yet or something. Because I mean, he's only got his base spells. He's only got his very beginner spells of the of the grimoire. Maybe later it'll be different. I don't really know. But also, I gotta think Tabata. I was very happy. This is just a personal thing. It's nothing kind of crazy, but I was very happy that Tabata gave a name to Zenon's sword, because whenever manga goes out of their way, or not even a manga, whenever fiction in general, they give a character a unique weapon, something that has like a stand-up design or has some really cool effect. I want it to, like, I always really want it to end up having its own name, like having its own unique nature to it. I always just think that's really cool, and it adds like a little extra flair to it. It gives it, it's a little extra level of purpose. But Zenon didn't have it last chapter. He just ended the chapter with like this bone sword, and it looks really cool. But we ended up getting a name. I don't know if it was the name of it or if it's just the name of this version of the spell. But he uses like combined spatial magic and bone magic, which is really cool because we've seen them used together, but we haven't seen them combined. And I can't think of any times with Vonica or Dante where they straight combined their two types of magic together. And it makes me wonder, like, what are the criteria for that? Because we've only seen a realistic handful of combined magics within the series. That's like most of the time we've seen where we're seeing like random, just kind of like little combos. I was looking at something like it was like Mirror Brigade, like the Asta and Gauche versions were like considered like a compound magic. I'm like, I don't know about that. I feel like it has to be like fused, kind of like when the elves, merge their magic with Raya to attack Mereoleona, something like that, or Luck and Magnus spell. But here we have this really cool spatial sword, and again, it looks sick. I like the cool gray spatial shit on top. It just looks neat, and it's named after like some really legendary sword out of the Norse mythology, where it's like every single time it's drawn, it has to kill somebody before it gets put away. And that like the fight between them is getting really kind of crazy. Like Zenon is just chopping through his own bones. Like he doesn't care about his own stuff in order to get to those stars. He ends up destroying one of stars. So stars being destructible, I actually really like. So this chapter, with them being able to be destroyed but also come back, I like that a lot because it gives a level of balance to Yuno's magic. I'm always a fan when we get like something really OP, but there's a rule to it. There's something that is like, okay, well, it's really strong, but there has to be something that like makes it so it's like not like unbeatable kind of thing. And obviously with Yuno's, like you could just beat it with large AoE, like you could just nuke the area, but it's like not everybody's gonna have something like that. So a means to actually destroy them, I thought was actually really cool. But obviously, being able to regenerate. So really, I feel like the only time you can give anybody like absurdly busted, like near invincible powers, like you give it to like big boss characters. You don't give it to like the rival which I would guess is not that far in his overall journey. Because I still don't think that we're like if I had to guess, we're like maybe halfway through Black Clover. If I just had to make an estimation, I don't know really, but that's just a belief that I would make just off of not Tabata's whole saying of like he could go to like 600 to 700 Bleach and Naruto lengths if they let him. So 600 to me has always been kind of like a general idea, and I feel like this would be like a good halfway point if we're like getting into like starting level Supreme Devils, and then we'll start moving into like the bigger people. But he's like using this big like flurry of spatial slashes. We get a flashback while he's talking to his brother. I wish we at least got a name for the fourth Salgratis brother, but I know Tabata's be a little mysterious with it. But he's like saying how Uik died easily, it's impossible to protect him, so they're gonna wipe him out and then bring him back with undying bodies so they can just keep living. And we get a part where it's like the other three Zolgratis siblings, we have Vonica and Dante standing there, but also the fourth one, his face is all blurred out. Again, very weird. Like, I can't tell exactly what Tabata's overall plan with with this bit is. Like, the only thing I can think of is like otherwise is I'm trying to like maybe like they're connected to the Zolgratis. I see the poncho and I immediately thought of Zenon. Or not Zenon, fuck, I'm messing up names more than usual today. But Nox, so it's like, what if he was there, like the Zolgratis family was related to Nox family? I guess it would make enough sense of demon connections to jet black hair, who knows? I don't really know or have any actual proof. That's just a small estimation and claim. But he wants to get this plan done so he can eventually protect the weak. Because what Zenon's mentality has been, it's like, whatever the means are outweighed by the end result. What is the exact thing? That the end outweighs the means. So it's like he doesn't care about who has to die in order to eventually keep like weaker people safe and do the best for the Spade Kingdom. And there's a really cool part where he's fighting Yuno, and Yuno's like, okay, well, it's time to use my special move. He ends up bringing up Boreas. He goes for an attack, and Zenon looks really cool in the shot. Just like, I wish that was like a full page, because it's a really cool page where like Yuno brings Boreas down, Zenon ends up clashing with it again. You see like his sword hit Boreas break, and then he's like, okay, well, I've destroyed all of his stars, and now I'm going to go in for for the move. He's defenseless. I really wish that page where, or that panel where Yuno's lifting up Boreas, it's like shining around it, and you have Zenon just looking at him, sword kind of out at the side, like the wings up. It's a really dynamic looking shot. It looks really cool. It's probably my favorite panel of the chapter. I think the only panel I like more than that is it's like right after the whole stage stuff, and Zenon goes to swing at Yuno, and he's got like the black eyes, and he's got like the big blacked out smile, and you just see that big sword slash. I just thought that was cool. But otherwise, I would have loved this panel for Boreas and stuff just to be the full one, because I think that one is probably the coolest in my opinion of this chapter. But he ends up breaking Boreas, like I said, and then we get the stuff about Saint Stage. Now, I guess Star Magic isn't arcane, because otherwise what reason would he need to have Saint Stage? And then, like I said earlier, when he whipped through his body and it didn't look like he hurt him, like his heart looked fine. But they're saying how like Saint Stage is attained when the resonance between the spirit and the host is nearly 100%. And the fact that Yuno's just been in this fight like near death for so long, it just pushed him to the point of being able to do it. And now he's going to be able to destroy a devil. And Zenon goes to attack him, and he's like, I win. This is my victory. In the face of overwhelming power, everything is pointless. And he goes to slash, and then there's like this part where it's like, the stronger the mage, the more stars are born. And it just brings up like Yuno's ability to, he pretty much brings up one more star, teleports behind Zenon, and he's like, you mean we win. And then he ends up slashing through him. And I really liked how Tabata had the panels for them of just kind of like having flashbacks before like their decisive moments, or at least in their brains, because like it's all of the people that were involved giving all of their efforts, all of their efforts pretty much credit. It's not just during this fight. There's like stuff for the members of the Golden Dawn when they were at least attempting to fight back against Zenon and stuff, but I don't really know how much they really contributed. Maybe just Zenon or Yuno's emotional status. But I actually really liked, being able to form another star, because it's something that makes sense. If his stars were destructible, but it's like you just destroy him and then he can't bring them back, then they have a glaring weakness. You just go right for him, and then you're screwing Yuno's like entire star magic moveset. And given that the spells have they've all been extremely reliant on the stars, because they have to have those stars to shoot the beams. They have to have the stars to make the shield, to make the whip, to teleport. It's not like his wind magic where he is, creating wind. Like he's manipulating wind and then creating weapons and stuff for it, where he can just pull it out of nowhere. The stars have to be present for him to use his star magic. So him having the capability of bringing them back makes a lot of sense. And on top of that, I like how Tabata handled it, because it's not like he destroyed him and immediately brought him back. It was near the end. He seemed to have just enough to do one more and then keep his Saint Spirit of Zephyr sword ready to attack. And with that, you also see like Yuno's hair like black in a little air, so it's definitely he's pretty much running on fumes at this point, and he's only able to get in that last little shred bit of effort in there before the fight actually ends. So Tabata, I think Tabata did a really good job with this one. And I know some people are probably going to complain of just like the idea of like, making up a new star at the end, but it's like it makes perfect sense to me with the idea of the moveset, because again, if star magic isn't arcane and you just have to destroy the stars, what real fearsomeness is there if it's so easily thwarted? So they're also made of mana, so being able to remake them with mana just makes sense. It's not like they're physical objects that brought into battle with him. But anyway, the chapter, it was a little short, obviously. Like, it was a very fight-heavy chapter. There wasn't a ton of dialogue, and it was a little bit shorter. It was like a 15-page one, but I think Tabata was going more for that really intense set of dynamic scenes rather than, a dialogue or, like, flashback-heavy stuff. So it was probably, took longer to draw with, like, a lot of the angles and a lot of the bigger spreads, especially that big double spread last page. That was really cool. Actually, one more thing is, I really liked how Yuno's Saint Spirit of Zephyr has the kind of glow around the halo, so it looks kind of like a sun. I thought that was really cool. And it would be, it obviously fits to the Golden Dawn kind of like sun coming over the horizon theme. But anyway, other than that, good chapter. I thought this was really solid. Sucks for Zenon. It looks like he's the first actual dead member of the Zolgratis. I don't really see how he's gonna live. If he somehow survives, there has to be it has to be intervention. Somebody has to intervene and then have a very set out explanation of why Zenon's heart cut in half didn't kill him. Like, they have to have something that's like, oh, I did this spell that like puts their heart in like a stagnant state where I know they're like, I don't want to say time magic because that's gonna bring up like the people who want Julius to be evil for some reason, but the general idea of him, of somebody having time, because we know there's a time devil, so somebody else could have time magic just as their devil secondary magic. We'll just have to wait and see. It's a really weird spot right now with with the fourth Zolgratis and the fact that we just had the last of the Triad defeated. Granted, we don't know again about Vonica or Dante's status, especially with the whole ritual. We don't know if they've got reattached to it and then like what exactly is going on, but I'll just go off of the idea that now all three Triad members are not connected to the ritual, because Morrison has to have some form of idea. There has to be some big event to happen in the next chapter or two, because otherwise the Spade is done. The Clover still has a good amount of fighters left, and they still have people who are capable of fighting. I mean, people like Fuego Leon, Dorothy, Patry, like they haven't really done anything yet. Raya, depending on Rades, Charmy, like there's a lot of really powerful people, and I know like Charmy's near like right at the tail end, but it's like Charmy has the OP magic to kind of like make up for like not being up there. I mean, I guess Rades, but Rades is super situational. It really depends on what he has, but either way, you look at them and you look at really like what the Spade has left. I mean, really, at least as of right now, all they have left are it's like that silhouetted Shining General that's just been holding on to a shred of potential height for the last 200 something chapters. But it's just a waiting game right now. I feel like Morris is gonna have to reveal something like another gate opens. Maybe Dante will get back up and hopefully like not like stop trying to face tank stuff and actually fight with like the idea that, you know, people can have hacks and they can overcome power gaps in some scenarios. But we'll see. Other than that, comment below, thumbs up the video, but from the like button, subscribe button, check out my other videos. From that, appreciate all you are and subscribe, and thank you all for listening. Bye.